Yahoro minasan, this is Yuki, and today I'm going to present to you some of my top favorite crime, mystery, detective anime that I think you might be really interested in. The first one is the most recent one that has been out so far, is Ron Kamonohashi Forbidden Deductions. And this show is talking about Ron and also Toto, and how they met in the beginning, and then later on how their stories got entangled. So Ron Kamonohashi is a well-known detective. He was a student in a very famous detective school. However, what happened was that there was a secret incident where apparently, allegedly, that he killed 5 other people, and that's why he was forbidden from practicing his detective skills, and also even forbidden from stealthing. And then we have Toto, who's like your average detective in a unit in Tokyo, and who was looking into some cases. Of course, he's not really like extra smart, or he's not doesn't have some side skills. So Ron Komunashi, when he sees the murderer, and after the murderer confessed, he orders the murderer to kill themselves. And you might think like, okay, if somebody tells a murderer to kill themselves, then why would they do it? However, it seems Ron has the power to make the murderers get brainwashed and really hold a knife or kill themselves in various ways. Maybe jumping from a high place, maybe stabbing themselves, maybe doing just anything to end their life. And when Toto realizes there is something wrong with the murderer, then he tries to stop them and bring them back to their senses before they engage in the act of ending their own life. It's also the question whether Ron Komonohashi really committed the crime years ago or not, and if not, how did it happen? It's like a closed room case. There is almost no other suspect beside him, and it doesn't make sense for somebody who's so bad at shooting to actually shoot 5 people right in the heart or the brain. So I hope that you get curious enough about it to try it. Beside all the Fujoshi fangirls shipping, the story is not yaoi, it's not a BL, it's just a deduction mystery detective anime. That's it. So yeah. The next one I would like to mention is Moriarty the Patriot. As you might have already guessed, Moriarty the Patriot is taken from the Sherlock Holmes series as a sequel story about Moriarty himself. However, we have to note here there is not one Moriarty. There are actually 3 Moriartys, which are William Moriarty, James Moriarty, Albert, that's James Bond. William Moriarty, Albert Moriarty, and Louis Moriarty. And of course we have the character of Sherlock Holmes. And here we take on the series of crime solving, not from Sherlock Holmes' perspective as all the old movies and books usually do it. However, from where does the Moriarty brothers actually plan to go ahead with it. And the story goes on in the beginning from a case that Sherlock Holmes was responsible for. He goes to solve this case. Sounds like very easy. There is no smart thing about it. However, the moment that Sherlock Holmes starts getting involved in a series of criminal separate incidents, he starts realizing there is something fundamentally strange about them, is that they are all interlinked in some invisible way, and somebody is creating this incident intentionally in order to trap him, or in order to lead him to working on a particular issue, to question justice, to question the government, to question the existing order. And Moriarty is not even holding back. William Moriarty is not holding back at all. He's not hiding who he is. He's actually looking forward to the confrontation with Sherlock Holmes. And here we'll have a lot of questions. I feel like the issue here is not only solving the crimes, or whether the law that exists is really punishing those who are wrong or no, but also it brings out a lot of social issues, a lot of legal complications, and also it brings to question whether the Moriarty way of doing things is ethically correct or not. I'm not gonna spoil you further about it. I really hope you give it a chance, especially if you like grey moral characters, if you like mystery, and if you are into the Sherlock Holmes series in general. The next series I would like to speak about today in this crime series is The Millionaire Detective, or it's called also Balance Unlimited. And in The Millionaire Detective, the main characters here are Daisuke Kanbei and Haru Kato. As you might have guessed, Daisuke Kanbei is the loaded detective, and Haru Kato is the ordinary guy who usually use his basic skills that are learned through detective schools in order to solve these cases. You might be wondering what is the difference between a regular detective anime and the Unlimited Balance Detective. Well, here the trick is that when you are loaded detective, then you have access to an endless number and amount of information from around the world, from intelligence agencies, and you can solve cases in an unbelievably short time frame. And it's really amazing. However, as Kanbei Daisuke will realize eventually, not every case is solved by simply having access to like the huge amount of information or having some wide connections. Some cases require a lot of empathy, and they require a lot of understanding things from the criminal perspective. And I think Kato's Haru, he's gonna help Kanbei Daisuke overcome his shortcomings and also see the limits of his position as somebody who's just, like well off and have a lot of connections, because that's not always what is needed to solve certain complicated cases. The next anime I'm gonna speak about is Undead Girl Murder Farce. And in Undead Girl Murder Farce, we're going to talk about Aya Rendo, who's an undead and who's only head for now because the rest of her body was taken by a mad scientist. And then we have our other character who's Shinichi Tsugaru. And Tsugaru basically is a half blood, half human, half demon blood. He has some supernatural abilities. He can beat demon to death because apparently his powers are very deadly to demons in general. And I was expecting actually this anime to be more like shonen with a lot of battles with different demons, different crazy creatures. However, that's not the only aspect of it. I mean, it was so in the beginning, but later on it was more focused on solving these unnatural cases between demons and humans, which is slightly similar to the other anime. So in that aspect, it's slightly similar to Kyoko City. However, in like Kyoko City, the main character Aya Rendo is not trying to create peace or trying to mediate between humans or demons. No, that's not the goal. The goal is basically just to solve these cases as they come in order to become a well-known detective, in order to gain access to a lot of secret information, in order to find the scientist, the mad scientist who stole away her body and also made Tsugaru Shunichi a half human, half demon. It seems to be the same guy anyway. The first season was really interesting. I'm really hoping for a second season announcement because it feels like the story is just halfway through of the first arc, and I hope you also enjoy it and give it a chance. The final show I'd like to introduce to you today is Great Pretender, which is again a Netflix produced anime. It has 2 seasons so far and it's really fun. The main character Makoto Edamura, he's a con artist and he gets convinced by this French guy named Laurent Thierry into following him from Tokyo to Los Angeles in order to make one of the biggest cons in history against a mafia don. At the same time he's a movie producer, in order to put him on the board for a fake drug deal. However, things don't usually go the way that Edamura anticipated and often ends up as part of the plot of Lauren. Most likely usually the bait. Yeah, he ends up being a bait more than us several times. I don't know how he's still able to trust him. But anyway, I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope also that you tell me what you thought about it or other shows. Thank you, goodbye.